You know, we're right here at the end of the summer and the beginning of the fall, and so we just went through the increased expenditures of the summer, right? This is when we spend more money than at other times. And why? Well, it's a time we love to travel, and especially in 2022, we just came off of a pandemic, and record numbers show we flew more this summer than we have in prior years. Everyone's ready to get out of the house, to take the trip, to go to the event, the music festival, the football game. But we found this out whenever we jumped back in and started getting back into the motion of everything. Everything is more expensive. CPI index is higher. Those plane tickets that everyone purchased cost more because the gasoline was higher. They got to their location. The hotel cost more. The food, certainly the food has been a huge increase. So those are the kind of things that led to the approximation of 30% of all people who traveled in the summer of 2022 went over budget. When someone goes over budget, that normally ends up on a credit card. And then that creates debt issues because people only pay the minimum balance and they don't attack the debt that's there and they're paying high interest. We want to avoid that. So here's ways to recover from a bad summer of spending, okay? Revisit your budget. It's always good. We talk about it all the time, but go back to a physical budget, either on paper where you're writing it down, or if you're a tech-savvy person, on your phone. Go to that app and look at the ways that you overspent. A lot of times it's impulse spending, but find out where your struggle was and get back to that written budget. You know how much income's coming in, and you know how much has got to go out to keep you from being in a negative balance there, and revisit that. We do keep things like this on our website at guaranteedsafemoney.com. You can watch all kinds of helpful videos. You can actually download budgets like this, and that will help keep you on track. Second thing is paying down your debt. So if you did end up in a situation where you spent too much over the summer and you've got the debt, how do you deal with it? Well, it's probably on a credit card. We look at two different ways, or maybe you spent your ready cash, your emergency savings. Either way, let's look at how to pay it down. Two key methods that we've talked about before. One is the snowball effect. Snowball, when you scoop up the snow and you pack it in your hands, you start off small. And so you find your smallest amount of debt, maybe it's a couple of $100s on a card. Get it paid off. Then move to the next largest item. Attack it and get it paid off. And then continue to make that bigger, that snowball, attacking the larger ones as you go. I personally prefer the alternative method, which is called the avalanche method. And on that one, it's not attacking the highest number of debt, it's attacking the highest interest rate. So a lot of times we get asked, well, should I pay more down on my home, or should I pay on a credit card or a second mortgage? What should I attack first? Well, the one that has the highest interest rate, and most of the time that's credit cards. If it's 15 to 20%, you definitely would want to attack that first before maybe if you're blessed to have an old home loan that was a 2.5% or 3% rate, which also has a deduction, a tax deduction for paying that down. Why would you pay more down on a 2%, 3% loan when you've got a 15 to 20% loan out there creating more debt for you? So the avalanche method, attacking the highest debt first, getting those high interest rates paid off, and then moving to your lower interest rates. Avoiding your pitfalls. This is a big one. Finding out what it was that caused the problem. Where is your struggle? Where your impulse spending is. You know, there's the famous old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, that's shame on me. Find out where your struggle is and don't repeat that struggle. What is it that you're spending on? It could be shopping. It could be video games. It could be trips or vehicles or whatever. Find out what that is, and then go back to your budget and say, when it's written down, this is where it helps you. I know this is how much I can spend on movies and entertainment. And I went way over. I got to cut that back. Those are the kind of things that can help you avoid those financial pitfalls. Use wise shopping habits. Now, this is one where we want to talk about 64% of people have reported an increase in impulse spending since the pandemic. They're seeing things that they want to do. They feel like they're kind of the FOMO, the fear of missing out on life, and I want to go do this. Use my father as an example. At age 76, he purchased an RV. He's never RV'd in his entire life, but his friends were doing it. He had peers that had retired. They were purchasing RVs, taking these vacations and trips, and he wanted to be able to do that. It's easy to justify, hey, you don't have to rent a hotel. You stay in your own RV. Well, guess what? When he purchased that impulse buy on the RV, he also had to purchase a new vehicle, a new truck to pull that RV. So it was two purchases. And then, unfortunately, never got to use it because when he passed away, it was unexpected. That had been sitting there paying rent on a space to store it, and it was never put into use. So there's all kinds of impulse buying. It can be small, clothing, shopping, going to a movie. It can be large. It can be a vehicle, an RV. It could be a lake house. You have to be careful of those impulse purchases because they don't fit into your written budget, and that can get you off track. So make sure you're using wise shopping habits. And then finally, keeping your goals in focus. That's why a budget, a worksheet either written or on your phone is really going to help keep you focused. You know, on my business card, I've had this way for 15 years. It's on every business card right here. I ask people every day what it is that they want, and I help them get it. Well, here's how I help them get it. I always find out what their written goal is. What is it that you want for retirement? You tell me what it is that you want, and I can help keep you on track to get there. You're going to have to write it down. You're going to have to use wise habits. You're going to have to avoid financial pitfalls and impulse buying, and you're going to have to make good decisions. You don't just wake up and retire in prosperity. It's a process to get you there, and the sooner you start, the better it is.